Hey everybody, I'm Kyle Larson, and you're watching the ACS.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot of time!
Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. At the first ever Aflac Cup Series race, the Lone Star State's Star Racetrack, a track built by Eddie Gossage in the late 90s, has grown and evolved to modern day NASCAR standards with a new turn 1 and 2 flat corners, 3 and 4 the same old medium banked corners, and we are ready to watch these drivers try and tame this wild track. So here's the playoff standings after last week at Martinsville. Remember, Clint Bowyer was the race winner. Chase Elliott had a solid race, but he's only 6 points above the cutoff line. Ryan Blaney just 4 points, and we got a tie for fourth between Erik Jones and Kevin Harvick. Martin Truex Jr. finds himself 1 point behind. Aric Almirola has some work to do, and Jimmie Johnson has a lot of work to do this afternoon. Now for your drivers to watch for today, Chase Elliott. He's 6 points above the cutoff, but he had a poor qualifying effort, and he will start mid-pack. Will need to make up plenty of spots if he wants to salvage a good points day for Detroit. Then we have a non-playoff contender to look out for, but that's Kurt Busch. He would love to get one final win, and he's on the pole today. He also loves this racetrack. Look for Kurt Busch to have a good run today. And then Martin Truex Jr., he is determined to make that finale at Detroit. He made the finale in Season 7, looking to do the same in Season 9, and he starts second today. And then Ryan Blaney rallied to grab a nice top 10 after starting mid-pack at Martinsville last week, but that wasn't enough. He's still only 4 points above. He needs a big race today to boost himself in points. Now let's go trackside for the command. Drivers, start your engines! The cars have been given the command to fire the engines, and they begin to roll off here for 10 laps in the Lone Star State. Now for your starting lineup. On row 1, it's Kurt Busch to his outside, Martin Truex Jr. Row 2, we have Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick. And in row 3, it's Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin. Row 4 today is Kyle Busch to his outside, the man who's tied for fourth, Erik Jones. Row 5, last week's winner, Clint Bowyer to his outside, Alex Bowman, Carter Adelman, and Brad Keselowski. In row 6, and in row 7 is Joey Logano to his outside, Camden Luca. And in row 8 today, a playoff contender, Aric Almirola to his outside, Kyle Larson. 2 Hendrick playoff contenders, Jimmie Johnson and Chase Elliott in row 9. They both have a lot of work to do today. Daniel Suarez and Paul Menard in row 10. Row 11, we find AJ Allmendinger and William Byron. Row 12 is Ryan Newman to his outside, Trevor Bayne. Row 13, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. next to Bubba Wallace. And in row 14 is Tyler Saponara and Eddie Jones. Row 15, Ty Dillon and Regan Smith. Row 16 today, Jamie McMurray to his outside, Sam McAllister. Matt DiBenedetto and to his outside, Michael Shelton in row 17. Row 18, Michael McDowell and Bryce Harvey. And in row 19, Chris Buescher to his outside, David Reagan. And we are ready. The field is set. Green flag is in the air at Texas. 3 wide heading into 1. That's not going to work for Martin Truex Jr. He's losing tons of positions on the outside there. Grabbing the lead off the initial start of the race is Kurt Busch. To the inside for second is Ryan Blaney. We talked about Blaney needing a good day. He's got it so far. Ooh, Hamlin there slipping wide. There's Almirola getting pushed up. Oh, Jimmie Johnson gets the bumper and into the wall. That will bring out a caution here in Texas. Playoff contender Jimmie Johnson gets put into the wall by Daniel Suarez. Mayhem breaks out here early on in Texas. Oh, nose first into the wall for Jimmie Johnson. What was Suarez thinking? He's got to give Johnson a little room there. Jimmie Johnson's battling for a playoff championship. And Suarez just gets into the back of Johnson. Jimmie could not be too happy with Daniel Suarez about that one. Looks like Suarez definitely just drives it in way too hard. Way too much heat. These turns at 1 and 2 are flat, hard to drive, and a devastating impact to the front of that number 48 Lowe's for Pros Chevrolet. So we got that calls for an early race restart for Kurt Busch and Ryan Blaney. Green flag is back in the air. Through 1 and 2 they go. Truex once again getting loose in 1 and 2. Something is really wrong on that number 78 Toyota today. four-way battle for second here between Harvick, Busch, Jones, and Blaney. Oh, and Kyle Busch gives the bumper to Harvick coming off of turn 2. That's going to slow up Kyle Busch just a little bit and bring Erik Jones into the mix. Erik Jones has always run well here at Texas, and look at him now running in third place here early on. Good points day, but remember, he's tied with Harvick for fourth, and Harvick's right behind him. Not much point separation for Erik Jones and Kevin Harvick right now as the cars rocket across the start-finish line. Oh, we got contact between Almirola. He's going to nose first into the wall. Another problem for a playoff contender. And that's Aric Almirola bringing out the caution with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Paul Menard, and William Byron. Watch as Almirola looks like he's going to cut down on Stenhouse, gets loose up in the Byron, spins Byron down into the inside wall, and Menard's going to get collected with Suarez here. Right there, Suarez gets into it, but the big story is Aric Almirola, a playoff contender, trying to save it and just noses into that outside wall. And heavy impact for Aric Almirola, not looking good for that 10 team here as they head to ISM Raceway next weekend. So your cars involved, Daniel Suarez is going to the garage area, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets the hook, William Byron will be done for the day, Paul Menard with a hard impact, and probably the hardest impact of all was Aric Almirola involved in this one. And now we got a late race restart. Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch, two brothers on the front row. They'll battle it out for 4 laps here at Texas. Look at Kyle Busch get to run into 1 and 2. He's going to grab that top spot. Here comes Kevin Harvick now to the inside in 3 and 4. Side by side for the race lead with 3 laps remaining in Texas. It's Kyle Busch looking to the inside of Harvick now. Harvick going to try and break away from Kyle Busch here. Kyle Busch going to run that midline through 3 and 4 as the cars race in to turns 3 and 4 at Texas. Multiple grooves in these turns here. With 2 laps remaining, though, it's Kyle Busch getting a good run off of turn 2. He looks in the inside. They make contact in 3. Harvick up the track. That opens the door for Erik Jones. Erik Jones takes the lead with 1 lap to go. Oh, and Harvick takes a swing at Kyle Busch. And that's just going to create more distance for the 20 of Erik Jones, a playoff contender. And he's going to win his way to the finale at Detroit. How about that for Erik Jones? What a win today for that number 20 team. Erik Jones, the winner at Texas. Congratulations. Check this out. This is the door that opened for him. Kyle Busch runs Harvick up the track. Harvick into the outside wall just a little bit, and that slows up Kyle Busch as well. Of course, that's going to ruin Kyle Busch's momentum, rocketing through 3 and 4. And Erik Jones just taking that low line there, going to get a good run off of 4, and he's going to clear Kyle Busch. And here's Harvick's. Looks like he tries to wreck Kyle Busch. I can only imagine Harvick is really angry, and here's some words from Harvick and Kyle Busch post-race. Harvick goes on to call Kyle Busch a prick. Dive bombing me was uncalled for. He'll get his. Trust me. And then Kyle Busch retorts, I'm going for a win. I'm not going to give up just because I'm out. So Kyle Busch obviously has a mentality of winning races. That's not a bad mentality to have, but you got to remember who you're driving with. But Erik Jones, meanwhile, gets to burn it down and contend for a championship in 2 weeks at Detroit Motor Speedway. So Erik Jones, congratulations to him. And we'll check out those point standings as he takes over the points lead from Clint Bowyer. First and second, Ryan Blaney. He's third, 6 points above. Then we got another tie for 4th place between Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott. Martin Truex Jr. is 6th in points, 10 points out. He just had an abysmal day here along with Aric Almirola and Jimmy Johnson. So Martin Truex Jr. could not be happy with what went down today. He got loose in turn 1 and 2, not once but twice today. Problems, big problems for Martin Truex Jr. As we continue the rundown of these point standings, here's your 27th through 36th in the standings, and then your 37th through 42nd. So we move on here. The finishing results at Texas. Taking the win was Erik Jones, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon with a top 5. Harvick finishes 5th. Carter Adam, a nice run today. Same with Brad Keselowski. The man who led the most laps today ends up finishing 8th. That's too bad for Kurt Busch. You're 11th through 20th. How about Ty Dillon with a nice top 20 finish. 21st through 30th, there you see Trevor Bayne finishing 22nd. He's one of the notables. And then here's where it all went down. 38th place today, Jimmy Johnson. And then you have Eric Almirola finishing 34th. Not good for those two playoff contenders. But next week, we go to the desert at ISM Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. Hope everyone tunes in that week. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is JT24, J26, signing out.